All right, welcome to episode 28 of the Recap Room. I am your host, Michael Cabin. I don't know why I have my sunglasses here. I need to move them out this side. Feels good to be back in front of the camera. I was just on a 2.5 week trip in Europe, which for me is absolutely crazy. If you know me, like I have not taken a summer vacation pretty much since I started work 5 years ago. But again, family trip. And how am I going to say no to that? You know, you got to make sure to, as much as we work hard so we get to cherish the moments with the people that we love. So it was overall a great trip. But enough about me. I want to get into what we're going to talk about this episode. As you know, like with our team, one of our main components is helping, I think just naturally comes with the age demographic of people that we work with, specifically because of the age demographic that we all are. We're all 24, 25, 26-year-olds. Mike Will, our intern's a little bit younger, but we're all kind of in that early, mid-20 range, and that's when people are maybe, I think the average first-time homebuyer is late 20s, early 30s. Don't quote me on that, but if you're not ready to buy now, you're at least starting to think about it, right? If you're in your mid-20s, you're starting to kick around that idea. You've been paying for rent probably for at least a few years out of college. I lived at home, so I'm going to be moving out soon. I'm in the process of buying my own condo, but the gist is that at this point in your life, the conversation is now shifted around. It's just an automatic, yeah, just renting, like everybody in your life's renting, to now you're starting to see some of your friends and maybe your parents are saying, hey, maybe you should think about buying. And we've helped this year alone at least probably 10 people convert from going as our previous clients that we've helped rent apartments to now that they're buying. And some people think, oh, well, those are older clients. Those people are a lot older than me. No, like a lot of these people, including myself, are mid-20s, and it's not that unattainable, but there's some signs and there's a smart way to do things and a not so smart way to do things. And there's some key signs that you're ready to stop renting and probably at least consider the option to buy in the foreseeable future or in the near future. Because if you don't have a game plan in play, that's going to sneak up on you. And 1 year of renting, probably if you're 25, you've already been renting for a few years. So it's not 1 year of renting, it's 3 to 4. And then they just keep adding up. And then you look down and you say, hey, I've been renting for, 5, 6, 7 years, and I've spent over $100,000 in rent, or whatever it is. It could be even more than that. And you really wish that you would have put that money towards a down payment or towards something that you were actually building equity in. So we're going to go over today what I think are the top 5 signs that you're ready to stop renting and start buying. The number one most important thing is that you're going to be financially stable. I think that renting gets a very negative connotation with it in comparison to buy, where it's like renting is always the worst option and buying is always the higher, better option. I don't think that's the case. I think, unfortunately, the real estate industry has done a disservice to our clients by explaining it that way. But the fact of the matter is that when it comes to your personal residence, you've got to be ready to foot the financial bill of what that cost is. The benefit of renting is that your cost is the cost of your rent, and that's kind of it. Things break, things go wrong in your unit, you're pawning it off to your landlord and they're fixing it for you. And there's something to be said about that, because I always tell my clients, I go, the most amount of things that will go wrong in a short amount of time in your unit or in your house that you're buying to live in are going to be within those first few months, because you're going to be working out the kinks. The odds are the sellers didn't go above and beyond to leave it in tip-top shape, because think about it, like, yeah, it would be nice. In a perfect world, they are. In a perfect world, everybody's doing their part and trying to help each other out. But realistically, they're in it for the money, and they're not going to go fork over an extra, few $1,000s to get the HVAC up to tip-top shape when, they're going to be selling it and pawning it off to you anyway. So you've got to be in a situation where you can financially foot the bill. And that doesn't just mean affording your monthly payments, but that means weathering the fact that when things go wrong, you're going to be the one that's going to need to foot the bill for it. You're also going to need to take into account that there's probably going to be some tax increases over time. Your insurance could potentially increase over time, and you're going to have a down payment. That alone is something that is a very big stark difference when you're renting versus buying, is that big down payment, which can vary. The average down payment for a first-time home buyer, I think, is around 7%. So it's not 20%, which some people think is like the industry norm. But still larger than what your, move-in fee or security deposit would be if you were just renting. So number one, being financially stable. Number two, I kind of touched on this earlier, but you're tired of tired of raising and rising rents, how much you've paid in rent, and you look back and you're like, geez, Louise, I've spent hundreds of thousands, tens of thousands of dollars in rent. That is usually when I hear people start talking that way, usually a key indicator that we need to start getting in front of them to discuss what the benefits and what their options are to buy what they can afford. One of the really nice aspects that comes with buying is that you're doing as much as you can to lock your costs in, right? So when you rent, you're basically at the behest of whatever your landlord's going to charge. You have to assume that each year your rent is going to go up. It's just the way it is. Your rent is going to continue to go up. So, we've seen it from when I started in 2020, renting out the same units in 2020 for maybe $1,500 a month. Those now are $2,000, $2,200, $2,250 a month. And that's going to continue to happen and continue to happen. And people are going to always be like, oh my gosh, rent is so expensive. That rent isn't in Chicago. Rent is expensive in Chicago, but people always have that same talk. They're like, I can't believe how much the one bedroom in River North is costs now for rent. That's crazy. When I was living down, that's just the way it goes. It's like a stock. Generally speaking, it's going to go up and up and up and up over time. And so the one thing that you can do to shield yourself from that is getting a mortgage, getting a fixed rate mortgage, because what is it? A fixed rate, right? You're locking in what your monthly payments are going to be by and large. Obviously, your insurance and your taxes can vary a little bit, but at the end of the day, you're doing as much as you can in your power to lock in what your monthly costs are and avoid the continuous cycle of rising rents over time. And also, if interest rates come down, you can refinance and also potentially have your living costs go down. Whereas renting, you're pretty much never going to have that option. I don't think I've ever seen a client have rent where it went from 1 year being, say, $2,000 and the next year it went to $1,900. It either stayed the same or went up. So if you're tired of having your rent and your living costs continually going up, buying is probably a good option for you to at least start to have that conversation and look into what your options are. Number 3, a little bit more to do with lifestyle, but you're ready to settle down. You found a girl, you found a guy, and you're ready to move in with them. Or even if you haven't found somebody, you just know you're going to be in the location, for us as Chicago or Chicagoland area, for the next 3 to 5 years. That's a sign you need to be looking into buying right now, because real estate is not a get-rich-quick scheme. Real estate is not a cryptocurrency where you're going to put it into, Fartcoin, and the next day it's going to go up 50%, and then the next day. It's not like that. Real estate is something that you make money with long-term. So in order to actually reap the benefits of that appreciation of your real estate, you need to be able to hold on to it for at the minimum 3 to 5 years for it to make any financial sense. If you tell me, it happens all the time. We probably help more renters than pretty much any team in the city, and it happens all the time. We have clients that call us. They're from Iowa, California, New York, whatever, random state, name your state, and they say they're moving here for work. And one of the first things I ask them is, do you plan to stay here for a while? Or do you plan to move back? A lot of them tell us that they don't plan to be here for a while. They're just starting their career here, and then we'll move back. I'm never going to recommend that person to buy something if they're going to move in the next 1 to 2 years, or they don't know what that's going to look like for them. It doesn't make any sense financially. It doesn't make any sense on a lifestyle basis. But for a lot of our clients, right, their kids, I'm from the North Shore of Chicago, the north suburbs of Chicago. A lot of those kids are in similar situations. They're from the suburbs. They live in the city now. their families live here, their work's here, now maybe their spouses or their significant others here. They know they're going to be here for a while. Boom. You got to be looking into buying at that point because you are a prime candidate to actually benefit from holding on to something for those next 3 to 5 years, opposed to somebody who is just going to come in here and to Chicago, start their career, come in here for a few years and then exit. So number 3, you're ready to settle down or you know you're going to be here for the next few years, you need to be buying. Number 4, this is a big one for me. You want more control over your living space. If you're like me, you like things a very specific way. And I'm in the process of buying my own condo right now, a 2-bed, 2-bath in West Loop. I'm so excited because it's the first time I'm going to be able to design my place how I want. I'm going to be able to paint the walls the color I want. I'm going to be able to do the kitchen the way I want. I want to put a big boy statue in my living room, right? I want to put a statue of the fast food restaurant Big Boy in my living room. I can do all of this because I own it. Who's going to tell me no? Who's going to tell me I can't do that? Nobody. That is, I don't know if you could put a dollar amount value on that, but there is something, and this maybe goes hand in hand with like the pride and ownership aspect, but when you own something and your ability to customize it and really make it your own, your home is so much more than just a financial asset. Your home is a place that's your oasis. It's should be at least your place that you go to de-stress. It should be your place that you go and know you can feel completely, that's why they say feel at home. And if you don't feel that way, you can move things around and arrange furniture in an apartment as best you can. But at the end of the day, when you own something, you can really, really, really make it the way that you want. And I think that there's something to be said about that really adds value in your life in a way that, the other 3 were maybe a little bit more financial. But this one is, I think, an intangible benefit to your life that's just as important. So number 4, you want more control over your living space. I know for me that's super important because I'm a little bit of a control freak. And number 5, you've researched the market and understand the responsibilities, but that is not something that you need to worry about because that is what you got us. That's what you got me. That's what you got my team for. We know these markets for people that are specifically in your position like the back of our hands because we do it on a daily basis. We are constantly having conversations. We are working every single day with people from all ages, right? We've helped all ages, but predominantly people from the 20 to 35 range that are first-time home buyers that are just getting into the market. They've rented for a few years. They're ready to buy, but they don't know where to start. And they're so overwhelmed and inundated with information. Is it a good time to buy? Should I be buying right now? How much is it going to cost? Where do I even begin? Blah, 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 all these things. You don't need to worry about that, right? One of the reasons you work with agent, and not just an agent, but somebody who knows what walking through that first process is actually like, somebody who's done it themselves recently. This is going to be my second property that I bought, and I'm 25 years old. But the benefit of that is that you don't need to worry about that. All the market knowledge, all the resources that we have at our disposal, the full team and ensuite of resources that we have are going to be available to you as a client. So that's that kind of 5th one where it says you research the market and understand the responsibilities. I'm going to focus because I can explain to you all about the market and the nuance that comes with that, but understanding the responsibilities part, that's going to be a little bit more on you. At the end of the day, when you own a property, you are going to have to take care of it. I guess you don't have to, but you should. And I think naturally that's going to come with owning it. You're going to want to take care of it. There's a good analogy that I've heard. It's like, why you never take a rental car to the drive-through. Actually, I have done that many times, but you never take a rental car to a car wash. And the reason for that is because it's not yours. You don't really care that much. I just you keep it in decent condition, but at the end of the day, you're returning it after a few days, and somebody else's problem. When you own it, that's fine if you don't want to wash it, but you're going to have to deal with that mess later on. And if you don't deal with it today, you're going to have to deal with it tomorrow. It's not just return and give the keys and call it a day. So make sure that you understand that, and that's going to be something you're going to have to just know about yourself if you're the type of person that tends to take care of their things, or if you're not. And if you're somebody who doesn't really take care of their things, well, that may be a deeper issue that isn't a conversation for us as real estate brokers. You may want to talk to the therapist about that, but I'm no professional on that front. So overall, just kind of recapping, we've got financial stability, tired of rising rents, you're ready to settle down or know where you want to be for the next few years, you want more control over your living space, and you understand and research the market and understand the responsibilities. I think those are the 5 key components that would be a sign that you're ready to stop renting and start buying, start building some equity of your own. I cannot express to you how important it is to at least, I'm not saying that you have to buy, because like I said, I think that there's pros and cons to both renting and buying, but our job is not to sell you on the idea of buying, because we help people do both. We have no dog in that fight. Our job is to educate you and give you the information and allow you to decide. And I think once most people have this information at their disposal, it becomes a very clear decision for them that, hey, you know what? It is time to buy, and I should be doing this because it's going to set me up a lot better for my financial future and what I want to do. But for some people, it doesn't, and that's totally cool, and that's totally fine. But we want to make sure that you have all the options at your disposal, because we're a full-service real estate team. We're here to help you as our client, no matter what that looks like. Everybody needs a place to live. We're just trying to facilitate and do it in the way that's going to be most conducive for you. And whether that means renting, whether that means buying, whatever it is, living in your parents' basement, I know I've done it. We're here to support you throughout that whole process. So as always, guys, I appreciate it. Thank you for listening if you made it this far. And as always, we love you. Coming back at you live in another couple weeks. Take care.